Welcome to All Change, the programme that puts design at the heart of the learning experience. Today we're at Sherborne Fields Special School in Coventry, and over the course of a single weekend we're going to be transforming a classroom for children with autism. David, I know with some of the children you have and the specialist equipment they need, you need wide circulation routes. Are there things that just don't work for you?
Yes, I mean, the school is quite spacious, but it's never quite spacious enough. And as you can see in this corridor here, there's a whole lot of equipment which ideally would be stored somewhere else. But it's in constant use, it's in daily use, it has to be accessible, and so it has to live in the corridor.
Now, you've got lots of ideas around the school for stimulating the children's senses, and this is a really interesting one. Tell me about it.
Yes, this is quite fascinating, yes. This is a sort of sensory calendar, I suppose you could call it, and it's to help children recognise what day of the week it is. It changes every day, and it greets them when they arrive in the morning. There's a smell of the day. Friday's smell was chocolate orange. Another day it might be peppermint. And then there's a piece of material which they can touch. It might be something hard and metallic like that piece, or it might be soft. And then there's a piece of music of the day, and every day's piece of music is very different. One day it might be some reggae, another day it might be a piece of classical music. And that all helps the children to orientate themselves and to make sense of their routines.
But every Friday they would know it's Friday.
Oh yes,
because
this is Friday's set of sensory stimulation, and if you come in on Monday, it'll be a different smell, a different piece of material and a different piece of music.
So that adds to their comfort levels coming to school?
Indeed, yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Shall we continue with our tour?
Yes, sir.
David, this is just one of a range of specialist areas that you have in the school, isn't it?
Yes, this is our soft play area, and adjacent to this we have a sensory room behind me here. We also have a swimming pool, which doubles as a hydrotherapy pool. Yeah, because of the range of abilities and the wide age range that we cater for here, we have to have a whole gamut of different specialised resources. I'm
sure this is a great attraction for some of your students.
Oh, it's very popular, yes. Yeah, children can really let off steam here, and some of them will run around. They have great fun in here.
Another important element of the design was the provision of some new shelving. John Craig constructed an inexpensive unit from good old MDF. It was painted a pale blue to blend in with the shade chosen for the walls.
The government's Building Schools for the Future programme asked architects to create exemplar designs, radical new ideas to stimulate thinking on school buildings. BDP architects have created a beehive school with classrooms shaped like honeycomb. They interlock and surround learning spaces. And their idea is actually going to be realised in a new school building in Blackpool. BDP is one of Britain's biggest architectural practices with a lot of experience in designing schools. Their exemplar design for the Building Schools of the Future scheme was based on Hampton Gurney School, one of BDP's most innovative designs. It's a multi-storey school on a compact inner-city site, and its radical outdoor play decks and curved classrooms help lead the thinking towards the beehive concept.
The beehive school really came out of the idea that the classroom wouldn't just be a rectangle, but might be something a bit more interesting, something that could actually interlock and wrap and go around corners. So we looked at nature, and hence the beehive concept, the idea of a honeycomb classroom, a hexagonal classroom that could combine in plan to enclose space, but could also be extruded vertically, to use the analogy of a beehive, and actually create homes for little children. It's a tight urban site, so the school's vertically configured. It's on 5 floors, and the idea is that the children get older as they move up the school. It's also a two-sided approach, the idea that there's a light, airy southern side and then a more solid northern side. And this is to do with the idea of capturing sunlight, capturing air for the children, but then also providing good daylight to the classrooms. The classrooms themselves are really sort of rather modest. Obviously they're hexagonal in form, which we think makes them more interesting, but we haven't tried to make them sort of freaky or odd. They're basically quite understated, quite domestic. They have big openings, which are obviously familiar to children, simple lighting, simple materials. From the classrooms, there's direct access to the play decks, which can obviously be used for play, but also social functions. They can be used as learning environments. They can be used in good weather and bad. They provide shade and shelter. And this is a view moving around to the north side of the building, where you start to see the sort of the honeycomb appearance of the classroom blocks. Solid masonry walls, which have good thermal properties, and then a view of the main staircase, which is the fulcrum between the beehive classroom blocks. And then the view of the building at night. So this is home time. The building's lit up as a beacon within the community.
BDP's design has been commissioned by Blackpool LEA to replace a school that was the victim of an arson attack. Due to open in September 2006, it's a first, a Building Schools for the Future concept that's actually going to be built.
The teaching spaces at Blackpool are on the first and second floors. Again, you can see the beehive classroom block configuration wrapping around the play decks. I think you can also see from the section that the original beehive concept of the public ground floor with the class bases and the play decks has been retained in its entirety, albeit it's been adapted to the site. At Hampden Gurney, the roof was developed as a technology garden, so this is really taking it a stage further and actually building in, real wildlife, real planting, real habitat, and it's very much seen as an outdoor teaching space rather than a play space. And one of the things that I think has been particularly interesting and successful is we have managed to get the building into its ideal configuration with south-facing play decks and north-facing classrooms. So I think it really has demonstrated that all that initial thinking was good thinking, and it actually works.
At Sherborne Fields, a lot of materials were recycled for the new room, and existing units were given a fresh lick of paint.
John, how's it going?
It's going well, as usual, of course. A hive of activity, as you can see, if you start with the walls, Sophie's marked this sort of border all the way around to sort of bring down the sort of colouring and clean all that up there. There's been shelves being made for storage. There's been boxes made for storage with casters on it that can be wheeled around.
And these boxes are going to be a lot of fun, aren't they? But you're keeping it a secret from me. What's going to happen with them?
A secret? Well, actually, because I'm not too sure myself, but all I know is they're going to be very tactile, very, very touchy-feely. Tim has been doing the sink, getting all that done. Pinboards have been taken off. Ali's been rushing around making me tea. Oh, it's just been crazy, but we're getting there.
The staff room is one of the most important spaces in a school. It's where staff come to relax, to prepare, to discuss practice. But too often they're overcrowded, the furniture needs modernisation and they need to be brought up to date. So here are some ideas to cheer up your staff room. Marking, exchanging ideas, having a coffee, important staff room activities. Modern furniture makes a huge difference. Good storage keeps down the clutter. Personal storage space is very useful. And these units contain an all-in-one kitchen. Very clever. The British Educational Suppliers Association have a code of practice which their members comply with. You can find details of all these products on the Teachers TV website.
Is the new whiteboard at the right height?
And where is my knee?
Oh, perfect.
The mobile sensory units were finished using recycled textiles.
Nearly finished, John?
Nearly, actually. I'll tell you what's going to happen now. Finish this box off with the painting and everything, all the bits are on the side. The other one's going to be done as well. There's furniture to go around here, and there's some tables and a computer to come in and some storage. And it's all done.
Fantastic.
The brief was to create a space suitable for children with severe learning difficulties, including autism. It had to have different learning zones within the space, yet avoid too much stimulation for the children using it. A rather redundant room was transformed into a functional and flexible space with plenty of storage. And a subtle colour scheme would help minimise uncertainty in the minds of the children using the room.
John, quite a simple design this week, but quite a transformation.
I think personally, out of the rooms that we're doing, I think the simple ones are really working. It just goes to show you don't have to do a vast amount to make a big difference. The children have never ever been to this class, and when they come in, it's going to be a very strange environment. The idea is, as they come in, they actually have a nice sort of relaxing area, if you like, but it's carpet as opposed to lino, trendy little seats, these storage boxes, which are also tactile, little pads on the side, and of course there's other fabrics and bits and pieces for them to play with. And not only that, they move, which is really handy. The colouring on the walls also is equally as important. Some may say it's bland, but it's not. It's supposed to be a relaxing colour, not too powerful. From what I can gather, big, strong colours is exactly the opposite to what they want. They need to feel relaxed. We have some new tables and chairs here. Again, we have a small carpet area here because some of the children obviously will be on the floor again, and we don't want them rubbing their knees against hard lino. And the smartboard. And the smartboard also a particular height. On this occasion, it was my knee actually that gauged the height. But obviously, if they come up with it on their wheelchair, they're low down, they can actually interact with the board.
So it's very much a blank canvas as the children arrive, as their needs are assessed by the staff. The room can be adapted and tailored to their individual requirements. Very much so, yes, exactly. Normally we finish a place off, but this is a room that I think will grow in time according to the children they have here.
The budget for the new room was a little over £2,000.
David, the room's all finished now. What do you think?
It's really fabulous. I'm delighted. To be honest, it surpassed my expectations. I was afraid it was all going to be rather bland and dull, but in fact, it's really nice. It has a nice atmosphere. It's totally changed the appearance and the feel of the room.
And I'm assuming that as the children come, this is going to be an area that you're going to adapt and build up over time to meet their needs.
It's got to be. It's got to be a dynamic, changing area, yes. Yes. How it developed, we won't know yet, but time will tell. You'll have to come back and see it in a few years' time.
I think it's been a real challenge for us this week, working on a design when the children haven't even reached the school yet. But I think it's been a really great challenge, and your expert advice has helped us enormously in adapting the design as we've gone.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you, and well, you've certainly risen to the challenge. These are children who we don't really know yet either, so to some extent we're in the same boat, but I'm sure this is going to make a lovely learning environment for them. And on behalf of those children and the staff and all who are going to work in here, can I thank you and the team very much indeed.
Thank you. We hope they enjoy it as well.
I'm sure they will.
If you've been involved in an exciting design project or would like help to transform an area of your school, we'd love to hear from you. You can contact us through the Teachers TV website, where you'll also find details of today's programme. From Sherborne Fields School in Coventry, it's goodbye from all change.